and we added the oil, which we talk about Jesus being the oil and how he calms your storms. And that's because the oil is dense. As you know, oil is heavy. And so when you mix that in with that reaction, it just settles it right down. And so the kids get to see that. So they actually see what you're talking about when we're talking about a Bible story. And so I love how we just interact both worlds, and the kids get to see the science part and they get to see the biblical part. And that's where you get gospelology. And I wanted to show you a little bit of, with our cartoons. We have cartoons that we make with each Bible story, and they are totally amazing. And so I wanted to show you a little cartoon that we did. And it's about Jesus healing a blind man. So let's sit back and let's take a look at Jesus heals the blind man in our Gospelology show cartoon.
This is Jesus, aka King of Kings, aka Lord of Lords, aka Prince of Peace. You get it. After Jesus healed the blind man, the man who was once blind went and told everyone. The people brought him to the Pharisees. Now, the day on which Jesus healed the man was a Sabbath, and that was to them a no-no. So the Pharisees asked, "Who healed you?" The man said, "Jesus put mud on my eyes, and I washed, and now I see." Some of the Pharisees said, "He's a fake. He does not keep the Sabbath." But others asked, "How can a sinner perform such signs?" So they were divided. Then they turned again to the blind man. "What have you to say about him? It was your eyes he opened." The man replied, "He is a prophet." They still did not believe that he had been blind and had received his sight until they sent for the man's parents. "Is this your son?" they asked. "Is this the one you say was born blind? How is it that now he can see?" "We know he is our son," the parents answered, "and we know he was born blind. But how can he see now? Or who opened his eyes? We don't know. Ask him. He is of age. He will speak for himself." His parents said this because they were afraid of the Jewish leaders, who already had decided that anyone who acknowledged that Jesus was the Messiah would be put out of the synagogue. That was why his parents said, "He is of age. Ask him." A second time, they summoned the man who had been blind. "Give glory to God by telling the truth," they said. "We know this man is a sinner." He replied, "Whether he is a sinner or not, I don't know. One thing I do know, I was blind, but now I see."
Whoa. And I came back after that video was played during that episode, and I said, did they just call Jesus a sinner? And because I wanted the kids to see that, being that it was the Sabbath day, and that the rules and the laws that were created by the religious leaders back in those days, which were the Pharisees, that they created these laws of their own. Creating or healing on the Sabbath day was not a commandment given by God. It was something that they had written, and they were holding Jesus accountable for the rules that they had created. But Jesus knew that if he could show the people that he could heal on any day, that it would help them to understand that he was the Son of God. Jesus never healed for his own benefit or for his own glory. He healed so that people can give God the glory and to see that he was the Messiah sent here by God to save us. And so that was what we were thinking about when we watched that video. And then I shared with the kids all of those things. We talked about the Sabbath. We talked about what the Sabbath day meant, how it meant to be a day of rest. We talked about all of those things so that the kids can learn all about the Sabbath day. They can learn about Jesus's healing of the blind man and what he did to heal the blind man. And then we actually showed one of the videos. That was part 2. But part 1, we actually showed Jesus spitting in the mud, rubbing it, the dirt and rubbing it, and then putting it over his eyes. And it was just great. And then in the laboratory, we created something that looked like saliva. And we talked about the different chemicals that we used to actually make our saliva. And so it was just great. I'm telling you, all of these things just mixed together and the kids can learn. And these are some great things and some great ways for church leaders, children's ministry leaders to teach their children during their Sunday school activities or Bible school. And what is so amazing about it now is that all of these things are online. We're in a pandemic and we have to understand that this is our new normal, right? A lot of us are not back in church yet. And if we are, our children's ministries have not restarted yet. And if they have, we still are holding things online so that our children and families can still watch for those who are not comfortable yet of coming out the house. So all of these things can be watched right online. So you can bring Gospelology into your own home. And if you're not in a church that has a children's ministry, but you want your children to learn Bible lessons and biblical stories and science, technology, engineering, and math, Gospelology is there for you right on YouTube. We also have the Gospelology Club. That's right. You can join the club today for free. You can just go to gospelologyclub.com. That's gospelologyclub.com. And you can sign up for your free weekly newsletter. There it is right there where you get digital biblical science curriculum, a newsletter for kids, parents, and teachers. What we do is we send parents letters of different things that you can do for your children. One of the things that we just sent out was how to help your children deal with anxiety. So many kids are going through anxiety right now. We are going through anxiety right now, being in our homes and not being, going to work and doing our normal routine. We actually are getting a little anxious. I know I did. I have now returned back into the office at my church that I work at, and it's been rough trying to get on the highway. For me, it feels a little weird. It feels a little weird not being in the home every day like I usually were. So imagine what children are feeling. They were separated from their friends for so long, but they're dealing with anxiety. And so in the letter and in the information that I give to parents and teachers, it gives you some steps that you can take with your children to help them with anxiety. So it's not just the children who are gaining from Gospelology, but it's also the parents and the teachers. And we also have an area where if children make Jesus their forever friend, that's our little saying that we have for when children decide that they want to walk with God, when they want to have that relationship with Jesus, when they want to be baptized, when they have decided that it's time for them to make a decision and choose to walk with Jesus. We have a section there that they can fill out their name and we give them information, different things that they can do now. They can learn that it's time we got to pray and we can read the Bible. How do I grow in my relationship with Jesus? So we give them that information too. And so these are some great things that you get in the Gospelology Club. But one of the things that the kids love so much is the games. Okay. You can go to gospelologyclub.com and we have all kind of different games and activities that your children can play throughout the week. We have interactive games. We have, crossword puzzles. We have different activities and different things that they could do. Word search. I just love it. You can actually go there right now, download the games, and the kids can play them right on their tablets or on their phones. They can be just being engaged in something while you can go and do some other activities. So it's just really cool. And so go on over there and download that free information. download those free lessons and activities and games, and then the information for our parents and newsletters that we send out. Once you sign up, you'll get something each week. Yes, each week. And so it's going to be great. So let's just take a little commercial break right now and just check out some of the other things that the Gospelology show is doing. And when we come back, just want to engage in the conversation and ask me some questions about, Latrece, what is Gospelology? Or Latrece, what are you doing now? Or how can I get this curriculum? Go ahead and put those questions in the chat, and I'll be more than happy to answer them right after we come back here on the Gospelology podcast.
Thank you for the happiest year of my life. Thank you for the happiest year of my life.
Yo, this is Jesus, aka King of Kings, aka Lord of Lords, aka Prince of Peace. You get it.
Ooh, this is nice. Welcome back. Welcome back. Thank you guys for joining me. I'm trying to see if I have any questions in here. I'm looking for some questions for you guys to join the conversation. Would love to answer the questions. So now I've picked up my phone to check out to see if we have any questions here tonight on the Gospelology podcast. Even in my Instagram, any questions that you have, go ahead and put them right there in the chat. Thank you for joining me, Rooted Vegan. Thank you for joining me. It looks like Jewel Booker, thank you for joining me. Grief Care Consulting. Thank you guys for joining me tonight here on the Gospelology podcast. I'm here. I'm open up for any questions that you may have, any ideas that you may have, any science activities that you may want to see. And so I'm just really excited about what we're doing here on the Gospelology podcast and here on the Gospelology show. What I love about the podcast too, if you know, every couple of weeks, I come on every 2 weeks, the second and fourth Friday of every month. And I love to bring on guests, whether it's preachers, theologians, scientists, doctors, lawyers, everybody. We come on and we talk about bridging that gap between the world of science and the world of religion. And so I'm so excited about our guest next week. It's a surprise. This young lady is amazing. She's a high school student and she's on her way to bigger and greater things. I cannot wait for you guys to meet this young lady, Miss Olivia Georges. Her father is Alvin Georges and Pastor Alvin Georges from the mountain. She will be joining me next week and telling us about her journey and where she is going in the world of science. So I'm so excited about having her. And then I just love having different people on to talk about STEM and where they want to go in the STEM field, because we want our young people to see other young people who are growing in that area and who are doing some great things in the area of STEM. And so I'm so excited about our guest. And as we continue to go on and grow, you'll see so many great preachers and theologians and scientists and young people who are making STEM their life. And so I'm excited about it. I'm also excited about some of the stories that we are doing on the Gospelology show, where we're talking about Jesus Christ. And I wanted you guys to check out a little bit about how we do our show. And so our next video, what you'll see is how the Gospelology comes on. And like I was saying, how we talk to our young people every Sunday and keep them encouraged and let them know that they are kings and queens. Let's take a look at the Gospelology show. Hello, all my kings and queens. Are you ready to repeat our affirmation? Let's go. I am the head.
I am the head.
I am not the tail.
I am not the tail.
I am above.
I am above.
I am not beneath.
I am not beneath.
I am a queen.
I am a king.
Kings and queens, just think for a minute. How hard would it be to do things if you couldn't walk? How would you go to the bathroom? What kind of games would you play? How easy would it be
to make friends.
Gospelology, Gospelology, uh-oh. Gospelology, Gospelology, oh. 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 Jesus turned water into wine. It's amazing. Jesus even healed the blind. It's amazing. How all the planets are aligned. How all chemicals are designed. Teaching the gospel with a scientific twist. All of his miracles are magnificent.
So kings and queens, have you given some thought to my questions? Remember, how hard would it be to get around if you had no use of your limbs? Now, you're probably going, what's a limb, Miss Latrece? Well, limbs are any part of your paired parts of your body. You know, like 2 arms, 2 legs of an animal or human being. And they're used mostly in moving or grasping. See, it would be pretty hard to get around to do things if we couldn't use our limbs like we normally do. You see, today's story comes from Matthew 9, 1 through 8. And it's about a man who was paralyzed. You see, being paralyzed means that you couldn't walk, or he probably couldn't use any parts of his limbs at all. No arms, no legs, or anything. He'd probably have to sit all the time. But watch this. Let's see what happens when he meets Jesus.
Yo, this is Jesus, aka King of Kings, aka Lord of Lords, aka Prince of Peace. You get it. Jesus returned to Capernaum, and when he did, the news spread quickly that he was back home. Soon the house where he was staying was so packed with visitors that there was no room, even outside the door. While Jesus was preaching God's word to them, 4 men arrived carrying a paralyzed man on a mat. They couldn't bring him to Jesus because of the crowd, so they dug a hole through the roof above his head. Then they lowered the man on his mat, right down in front of Jesus. Seeing their faith, Jesus said to the paralyzed man, "My child, your sins are forgiven." But some of the teachers of religious law who were sitting there thought to themselves, "What is he saying? This is blasphemy. Only God can forgive sins." Jesus knew immediately what they were thinking, so he asked them, "Why do you question this in your hearts? Is it easier to say to a paralyzed man, 'Your sins are forgiven,' or 'Stand up, pick up your mat, and walk'? So I will prove to you that the Son of Man has the authority on earth to forgive sins." Then Jesus turned to the paralyzed man and said, "Stand up, pick up your mat, and go home." And the man jumped up, grabbed his mat, and walked out through the stunned onlookers. They were all amazed and praised God, exclaiming, "We've never seen anything like this before."
Wow! That was totally awesome! Let me tell you, in today's age, where we have videos that go viral, like one...
Jesus just went viral. This is so cool. As you can see, I was just about to get into my lesson because what I wanted to share with the kids and what I've done is I've made what we do and what Gospelology, I've made it real. I made it relational, experiential, and I made it alive, affirming, and I made it a learner-based curriculum. And what I wanted to do is I bring to what we do today into what happened in the Bible days. And as you've seen, Jesus came home, y'all. And when Jesus came home, everybody knew about it. And what I said was Jesus just went viral. It's like what we do on social media. If we do anything and it's really good and it goes viral. Well, Jesus was viral back in the day, right? And so when Jesus came around, everybody knew. And so I kind of make the kids understand it in that kind of way, where they look at it and they see today's times and they see what's going on in our times. It's so important for us to make the Bible realistic, to make it real, to make it come alive for our young people, for them to see and feel Jesus. And that's what Gospelology does. We do these games and lessons and activities and all of these things so that kids can learn about Jesus in a fun and enthusiastic way. I say that Gospelology is all about kids finding their purpose. And what I mean by their purpose, I mean that first P. I want kids to find their passion in science, technology, and engineering and math. I want them to find their passion in loving Jesus. And then the U in the word purpose, I want the kids to connect with their uniqueness. I want them to realize that it's okay to be different, that they were never meant to fit in, that some of them were always meant to stand out, and it's okay to be different. I wanted them to be able to know that I want them to embrace their uniqueness. If Promac can walk around with a paper bag on her head and some glasses and people still love her, you can love science and people will still love you. Let me tell you something that I told my grandson years ago. Well, he told me he loves science and he loves reading. And he said sometimes people call him a nerd. And his response back to them was, nerds are rich. So we want our kids to understand their uniqueness. And then that R, I want the kids to understand about relationships, how coming together in Gospelology, you're coming into relationship with all these different young people who want to know about Jesus. And you can actually grow a relationship with Jesus. You could be Jesus's forever friend. That's the P. I want them to know passion. That's the U. I want them to know their uniqueness and embrace their difference. I want them to know R, their relationship with Jesus is great. And then I want them to know P, their pains. A lot of our children are suffering and they have gone through some things, but I want them to understand that their pain does not have to define their future, that where they are and where they have been and their environment does not have to be the environment or the place that they will end up, but they can actually embrace whatever they're going through. That pain that they're going through may wind up being a nonprofit when they grow up, or that pain that they're going through may be a book that they may write about. But I want them to know that whatever pain that they're going through, that Jesus can heal them. And all the miraculous miracles that he's performed and we watch on Gospelology, Jesus can do the same thing for them. And then I want them to know that the O in their purpose means that they can be optimistic. I want these young people to grow up knowing that every no that they hear is pregnant with a yes, that they can actually know that no matter if somebody tells them no, that they can actually get a yes sooner or later, but they're going to have to work. They're going to have to work at making sure that they give that person the reason behind them saying yes to whatever they heard no. That no is not the end. No was just that first time, but because maybe it wasn't time for them to have that yes. And so what I want them to know is that no is not always no, that no also has a yes in it. And then what I wanted them to know after that O is that S. I want these kids to smile. I want them to look at Gospelology and smile when they hear about Jesus, and smile when they're seeing the science experiments, and smile when they see Promac, and smile when they hear the stories about Jesus, and most of all, smile when they see people who look like them, especially Jesus. Can you imagine seeing a man, the greatest man who ever walked this earth, and he looks like you? Can you imagine seeing scientists and great inventors that look like you, that made a difference in this world? I want them to smile. And then the last thing I want them to learn is E. I want them to learn that they have to equip themselves, that we get nothing without learning. If you look at the word learn and you take the L off of it, you have earn. So when before you earn, EARN, you have to learn, LEARN. LARN. And it's so important for our kids to know that you have to learn these special things before you learn anything. So I want them to be able to know that they have to equip themselves. If they want to be scientists, they have to go to school and they have to study and they have to learn science and math and technology and engineering. If you want to be these great things, you're going to have to go to school and you're going to have to study hard. You're going to have to do your math homework. You're going to have to read. You're going to have to get mentors and people around you that will help you to grow. And so the whole thing behind Gospelology is for young people to know their purpose, to know who they are, to be passionate, to embrace their uniqueness, to form relationships, most of all with Jesus Christ, and to be optimists, to understand their pain, to smile, and to equip themselves. That's Gospelology. And like I said, we have some great information for your kids. Go to our YouTube station. Follow us on Instagram. Please hit us up. Follow us on Instagram. And when you go to Instagram, you can actually go to our link tree and you can get some of our products. We have some great things right there. We have shirts that says, Jesus is my forever friend. We have shirts that say, it's amazing. That's Promac's favorite saying. We have things that say we stem from him, different shirts that say we stem from him. We got hoodies. We got all sorts of great things for your kids to walk around and promote Gospelology, promote their relationship with Jesus Christ. And so I'm really excited about it. So make sure that you go over, join the Gospelology Club right there. You can go tonight, join the Gospelology Club. It's free. Okay. Download the games and activities for your kids to play and download the information that we've provided for you as parents and teachers. I hope that I have explained as much as I could tonight about Gospelology. And I hope you understand now why we do what we do and why we're here on the Gospelology podcast and on the Gospelology show. Again, follow us on YouTube at Gospelology. Follow us on Instagram at Gospelology. Follow us on Twitter at Gospelology1. Just embrace us, follow us, promote us, share with your church, share with your teachers, share with your friends that Gospelology is on the air. The first and only biblical scientific Sunday school curriculum designed for Black and brown children is now live and ready to go. Connect with us. We'd love to connect with you. We'd love to do a Gospelology, travel where we're going on the road and we have a Gospelology tour. Promac coming to your church or your school, do some scientific activities just to join you to let you know a little bit more about what we do. So head on over to our IG, head on over to our Gospelology YouTube and check us out and make sure you follow us on all of our social media sites. I've had a wonderful time this evening sharing with you about the Gospelology show, about the Gospelology podcast, about the Gospelology YouTube station, IG page. Go to Gospelology, We Stem From Him on Facebook. Just follow us and you'll be so blessed, I promise you. My name is Miss Latrece and I am the creator and founder of Gospelology. And I'm also Promac, Professor McKnight, where I'm a gospelologist and I teach the gospel of Jesus Christ with a little scientific twist. Now I'm going to go out. I want you to hear something. I forgot. I have some great music that we share on the Gospelology show. And I wanted to share with you one of our songs. Our songs are from hymns. I have a heart for hymns. And what I try to do is take our hymns, right? And I turn our hymns into songs that kids would love today. And so one of the hymns that I took was No Not One, which is my favorite hymn in the world. And we made it a little different. So I want you to check that out. So if you check that out real quick, and then we're going to head on out of here. But check out No Not One. That is one of the Gospelology's songs.
Gospelology, Gospelology, uh-oh. Gospelology, Gospelology, oh. Gospelology, Gospelology, uh-oh. Gospelology, Gospelology, oh. Gospelology, Gospelology. turned water into wine. It's amazing. Jesus even healed the blind. It's amazing.
Hey, I guess you wanted to hear our Gospelology theme song. That's the greatest song ever. But what I want you to do is head on over to our YouTube station, okay, and check out our different songs for praise and worship for your kids. And I want you to really head on over and also check out our new song that we have called How I Love Jesus. It's Oh, How I Love Jesus, but it is not what you're thinking of. And it's featuring Slater Joel, and it is an amazing song. So check that out, featuring Slater Joel and Karen E. and of course Janelle. And I want you guys to head on over to our YouTube station. Now, I'm going to be looking to make sure that you guys are checking it out and watching it. So head on over there as we end out tonight with our Gospelology theme song. You guys, thank you again for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again in the next 2 weeks with our guest, and I'm just so excited about that. But remember, head on over to the Gospelology show and head on over to the Gospelology podcast every second and fourth Friday, and then also join us on our YouTube station, and make sure you share it with your church. Make sure you share it with your children, your grandchildren, your nieces, your nephews. They will absolutely love it. Guys, thank you again for watching the Gospelology podcast, and Latrece McKnight thanks you, and Promac thanks you. Have a wonderful and fantastic evening, and I'll see you on the Gospelology podcast and show. Bye-bye. Instagram.
Gospelology, Gospelology, uh-oh. Gospelology, Gospelology, oh. 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 Jesus turned water into wine. It's amazing. Jesus even healed the blind. It's amazing. How all the planets are aligned. How all chemicals are designed. Teaching the gospel with a scientific twist. All of his miracles are magnificent. Teaching the gospel with a scientific twist. All of his miracles are magnificent. Oh.